AskReddit by Avery 5216. What is a pronunciation error that annoys you? I once had a colleague at work who pronounced fiscal year as physical year. It drove me absolutely bonkers. One of my co-workers does that. And she worked in finance. I would emphasize the correct pronunciation every time and she'd go, yeah, physical. A town near me pronounced hurricane instead of hurricane. Professionally, there's an artery named the artery of Adamkiewicz. Most people pronounce it Adamkowitz. A friend was at a conference where they talked about this structure. Someone got up during Q&A and said, "Although I'd let you know that the artery is pronounced Adamkiewicz." The speaker said, "Well, you're wrong. I know how it's pronounced." The other guy then said, "Well, my name is Dr. Adamkiewicz, and my grandfather, for which it's named, described it." Hello fellow West Virginian. Supposedly. Pacifically. For all intensive purposes. There are malapropisms that drive me nuts. Irregardless for one and I could care less for another. Pacific instead of specific. Used to work in a call center in AZ. One day, dude next to me was calling out and wasn't sure if it was too early to call CA, so asked me, "Is California on specific time?" I heard him clear as day, but couldn't resist. "Sorry, I missed that." He paused for a good 10 seconds where I could tell the wheels were turning in his head and finally said, "Is California the same time as us 20 plus years later?" And I still think of that story. Acrost. Michiganders took all the T's from mitten, kitten, etc. and put them at the end of a cross. Chipotle. I used to say chipotle as a joke, but now it's stuck and I can't say it the right way. I work at a Spanish tapas bar in Colorado, so I have heard some incredibly creative butchering of menu items. It's insane how many people say charcuterie I went on a date with a guy. He ordered the chartreuse board for us. He was such a sweetheart. But damn, I had to try not to laugh. Not a pronunciation error, but when people type defiantly and mean definitely. Or quite when they mean quiet. Espresso. When you can't hear, you're deaf. Escape. Drowned. My own assistant at work pronounces celestial. I try to emphasize "cel" every time I have occasion to say it, but it never works. Yes, espresso. Maddening. When people say data instead of data. Oh, that pisses me off. It's pronounced data, not data. All of a sudden. OMG. A podcaster I otherwise love listening to says this all the time and each instance takes me out of the episode for a few seconds. Like nails on a chalkboard. When someone pronounces moot as mute. It's obviously a moo point. All intensive purposes. Please don't dog on me, but I say this. What's the correct saying? Etc. as etc. Absolutely maddening. Comma and so on, etc. Macaron and macaroon. Two very different cookies there. When people pronounce voila as walla. And especially when they type it like that. Valentine's Day. Ugh. It's the time of the Valens. Prostrate. Thanks for reminding me I need a checkup. Pluralizing with the use of an apostrophe. The Smiths. Or all of those candies. Eater. iPhones autocorrect apostrophed plural words often. Strength. Library. Nuclear. Edit. Frustrating. My roommate says frustrating. No, he's not being cute by mixing flustered and frustrated. He genuinely thought that was a word until I told him so. Reese's instead of Reese's, the S is possessive. Reese made the cup so the cup is Reese's. That didn't bother me too much. When Reese's Pieces came out, I thought the problem would shrink since obviously it's supposed to rhyme. No, now you've got people out here calling them Reese's Pieces. That bothers me deeply. Not pronunciation but grammar. I'm not a native English speaker and by far not the best. But why do people keep writing would've instead of would've? I don't get it, and it got to the point where it really annoys me and I literally skip the whole comment text etc. It's because they've heard it, but were never taught to write it. Or, they were taught, and just don't care. Parmesan. I have never heard someone say it this way, but I had a visceral reaction to reading this. Pronouncing wolf as woof will forever make me want to tear my fucking eyes out. My mill does this. She also says goff for golf. I thought it was something weird about her. Holy shit.